Antisocial Butterflies. Welcome to a very special edition of the Antisocial Socialite. I have dyed my hair, unrelated, but obviously, you'll get it in a moment, purple. You can see it a little bit in honor of royalty. I've worn some bling and I've worn some white in honor of our queen. Queen Teresa Mendoza. That's right, this episode is dedicated to Queen of the South, my absolute favorite show. Season 5, which is the finale season, is airing tonight, and I cannot wait to binge watch over and over and over again in between watching each and every episode of season 5. So excited. So what we're going to do is talk a little bit about previous seasons, predictions for the upcoming season, a little bit of everything. So buckle up, bitches. We are about to go on a cartel journey. So I had the opportunity to chat with the content curator for the Queen of the South Club and the Peter Gadio Club. She actually runs both pages to see if she had any insight on this upcoming season. So what she had shared with me is fans are super curious to see the James and Teresa dynamic for this season, right? So where we left James in season 3 is he was leaving to go work for Devin Finch, again, in order to protect Teresa. She didn't know that. She just thought that he was leaving because she kept questioning his loyalty to her. Even though I wish that he was in season 4, he didn't come back till the end when he was wounded and he had blood all over his white shirt. The white is definitely a color of symbolism in this show. So you guys know, the white suit says everything. But we have to really see how it plays out because we have seen little clips and trailers online in the weeks leading up to the premiere. But we also see that Pote and King George really are not trustworthy of James coming back in the picture. So we have to figure out, is this going to stay in episode 1? Is it going to really seep into other episodes where we're going to find out that, James is not as trustworthy as possible, what he has to do in order to build their trust up? She's lost Javier. She's now playing with the Russians. We don't know who's after Teresa. So this is a huge, huge part of the storyline that we need to kind of dive into and blow apart and see what the hell's going on. So now we have to figure out who the hell is coming for the Mendoza cartel. Isn't that fun to say? Because we never hear it in the show. The Mendoza cartel. But especially who's coming after Teresa. Number 1, I don't think that it is Camilla. Because Teresa's way too powerful and Camilla knows what's going to happen if she tries to come back into the picture. So she's off, away, in exile for the rest of her life. We're never gonna see her again. Or maybe we will. We as in I, the royal we, don't think it's Devin Finch. Because James would know about who Devin's working with, who Devin's working for, and if this was a random hit, attempted hit or message being sent to Teresa via James, he would have a little bit more insight about this, so I don't think it's Devin. Is it the Russians? Because James has no idea about the Russians. What kind of message are they trying to send? We are not fucking around. This is all business, and you are gonna get murked if you even try to mess it up. So we have to figure out who this is, and I hope that Pote and King George and even Teresa are a little bit more accepting of James coming back in the picture. I was actually really surprised to see the little clip of Kellyanne talking with James. And, I think where we see the evolution of Teresa, honestly, not that she was innocent, or super trusting to begin with, but you definitely see the evolution of her changing her personality and her character because she's had to do this as a survival mechanism, when literally she was a money exchanger to a mule to now running her own empire, right? But James is kind of going the opposite, and he's actually learning mercy and understanding where Teresa was saying in the earlier seasons about you know, you don't have to kill everybody. You can kind of like give them a chance. So we're kind of seeing the reverse role. So I thought that was really kind of interesting that James learned that from Teresa, where she's now out to get as powerful as she can and get the hell out. Also, throughout watching the entire series, it has really gotten to me, and I've been stuck on it the whole time. The opening scene of season 1, episode 1, when she gets that bullet right through her head in the bathroom at her house. I hope to God that that is not actually part of this storyline, because I would be absolutely devastated. I think she needs to live on forever. My hopes and dreams for her is that she can escape cartel life. I hope that she runs off with James forever. I hope that King George just has like fun on a yacht somewhere and can find somebody similar, not even equivalent, to Bilal. I hope Pote can open his own restaurant and be a chef there. I hope Kellyanne can like, you know, somehow erase her record and become a lawyer or a manager somehow, because I feel like she has earned that in these seasons. There's so many things that I want for the cast, but is that gonna happen? Probably not, because I'm living in a fantasy world right now. But to go back to the evolution of Teresa, right? She's had tons of nicknames throughout the seasons. We've heard Principesa, Teresita, Flaca, you know, I mean, the list goes on. Like Tere, like Brenda called her that, like cute little nicknames. Patrona, Godmother. I mean, she was Tony's godmother. That was huge. But the biggest nickname that she's gonna get, and it's well deserved, is Queen. La Reina del Sur. That is who she is. She really is like top of the top. She has gone literally from being brought over unwillingly, you know, not on her terms, but to the US as being a drug mule. I can't talk today. Drug mule for Camilla. All the way to like having business in Sinaloa, Arizona, Louisiana, Miami, Atlanta, New York City, Malta. I mean, she's going international with her business, right? So she has earned her seat at the table. Although she's made some missteps along the way and trusted some people or made some bad business decisions that ultimately ended up in like warfare, she had to do what was best for her and for her guys. And I totally understand that. I'm still crying though about Javier's death, although he went out like a total badass. So props to him. Because he took Randall down in the most epic death scenes I've like ever seen.
Yeah, I actually kind of liked you.
I'm like, that's what you get, motherfucker, you corrupt ass motherfucking cop prick. Don't get me started. I'm on a roll. But I'm also super curious to see what happens to the judge, because he does not have the power behind him like he did in season 4. And I hate him, and I want him to go in exile forever if he doesn't get killed first. But we're going to have to see what happens, because in another clip that we saw online, Teresa's like, psh, you work for me now. And you know what? You better answer your phone on the second ring or else. So she's like really taking over the whole city. I will be honest, I didn't necessarily like New Orleans at first when they went there, right? I was just like, because I don't know why. I just don't picture that as being like a luxurious area for like drug exchanges. But then got me thinking that like you don't want to be out in the open. Like we know everybody does coke in Miami. We know everybody's on Molly in New York City, right? She can't necessarily go to those places where her business is being sold. So I'm like, you know what? I guess New Orleans works for her. Siete Gotas, like she's got a business. She's trying to run it. She's making new partnerships. Shout out to Marcel Dumas. I hated you at first, but now I love you. I love the fact that you like really stepped out and you were like, I'm gonna go with Teresa and not the judge. Like, we're gonna mix shit up, switch up the city. I'm no longer being run by this guy. So there's a lot of things that I'm like, all right, New Orleans, all right, you're cool. And I was actually surprised that they decided to continue to film season 5 in New Orleans. I figured that she's like, let's get the hell out of here. The judge is crazy and we have business now in Miami. Let's go somewhere. But that's not the case. So I was kind of surprised, but I'm like, it's cool. We're going to roll with it. Those are a little bit of my predictions or hopes for season 5. Who knows what's going to happen? I might have to do a follow-up video because I'm going to be like fangirling at my TV tonight at 10 o'clock on the USA Network. But in the meantime, I'm gonna like just continue binge watching throughout the rest of the day in anticipation for the season. And I'm just so excited to see what happens. Boaz is shown in clips, so we know he's back in the area unless they travel to Miami. So who knows what's going on with him. I have a feeling, because there's rumors online, what happens to him in terms of his career path with Teresa. But we are super excited. All of the fans and anybody, cast, crew, extras, anybody that's watching this, thank you guys for like bringing the dopest show. Absolutely love it. Hope one day I can interview one of you, just person to person, not because I'm like a super fanatic fan. Like, I'm not gonna go on that like MTV show that they had, Fanatic, if you guys remember that, from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, I'm not on that level. I don't have posters of all y'all like in my bedroom. It's not like that. But to be able to interview you guys would be so cool, because I want to hear about future projects and all that. So I'm just throwing it out there in case any of you happen to be watching this. Well, I made this episode short. I figured, thank you to anybody who watches this, Queen of the South fan or not. One day, let's do like an Instagram live or something. If you follow me on Antisocial Katie, let's do a live. Let's tap in with each other. Let's like do an episode recap. Like, I don't care. I'm all for using my platform to talk about something I love, which I do every week anyway. You guys know that. And this week I'm actually going to have my Antisocial Weekend playlist dedicated to cartel type music, things that are inspired by the cartel and gangs and all that stuff. So make sure that you check that out on Antisocial Katie. But thank you guys. Have a great ass week. I can't wait to watch on my new big screen TV that I have in my living room, every future episode and continue to binge watch. And I'm just excited for it, Like, I've been waiting for this. But that's it. All right, have a great week, guys. I will see you next week. Until then, La Reina del Norte out.